Welcome, everybody, to Empowering Your Higher Self Tools for Living Consciously. My name is Michelle Champaka, and today I have a very special guest joining us in a couple of minutes. Her name is Lauren Messmer, and she is a Galactic Goddess that calls in the energies of both the Earth plane and of the galactic quantum field to support people in finding their own infinite power and inner healer. Lauren was on the show a few weeks ago, but we had some technical difficulties. I wasn't able to save the recording, and she had so much awesome information, so I wanted to invite her again. So hold on to your seats. This is going to be a special treat for you, so just wait another minute and we'll be right back with you. Okay. Wonderful. Welcome, Lauren. Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, it got really sharp all of a sudden. I'm going to lower the volume just a bit. See if that'll be okay. So, welcome, Lauren. Welcome, all the listeners. Once again, I'm just going to do a quick intro. I noticed that my volume was a little bit down before. Lauren Messmer is back again to share her wisdom and her experiences as a galactic goddess. She calls in the energy of both the earth plane and of the galactic quantum field to support people in finding their own infinite power and inner healer. The name of Lauren's business is called Mood Medicine, and she is an ACASMA Level 3 facilitator, as well as a Level 1 and 2 master teacher. And she was residing in Puerto Escondido, but now she's traveling and she's back in California. Is that right, Lauren?
Yes, I am. Northern
Yeah,
California.
yeah, but you'll be back again probably around late August, early September. So, um, in the meantime, it's great to have you back on the show. We had some technical difficulties last time, and the recording of the show was unable to be saved. So, this will be great to have you again here with us, Lauren. And so, tell me, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm really good actually. I just am giggling just because of all of the when we're working with energy and we just go with the flow, how many things we have to listen to understand what the universe actually wants. And this is actually the third time we've tried. And even today we had some challenges. So I'm excited. It must mean that we have a lot of important information to share in the world. There's forces trying to keep us quiet, but we won't.
You're absolutely right, Lauren. And yeah, no, I think there might have been some interference, and I'm just going to ask for any interference that could be hanging around right now. Just asking for my helping spirits and any ascended masters, helping spirits of Lauren's galactic beings to come in and just surround us now with your love and light to really protect this space so that this show and this interview that I sense is a very important one, will not have any blockages or interference. And so it is. There we go.
I love that.
Wonderful.
So it is. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Lauren, tell us a little bit more about how you became a Cosma healer and facilitator. I'd love to hear your journey and how you ended up where you are now.
Sure. Well, I love talking about ACASMA so much, so thanks for asking. There's one update in my bio since I wrote that, which I think was only like a month and a half ago, but now I am actually uh, a teacher and facilitator up to level 3. So I can now bring new facilitators into this world. And I found ACASMA through my teacher, the Majestic Lioness on Instagram. Her name is Meredith. And I had taken a few courses with her before we actually first connected online. She reached out to me after I'd been on an online panel, and we started to do a few meditations together. I was doing daily meditations for a while. And after a few years of knowing her, she let me know that she was now a teacher of this energy modality called ACASMA. And to be honest, I really didn't know what ACASMA was. It was pretty new to the world. It came through in 2020 through A.L. Garris, who is the originator of this beautiful galactic medicine, energetic medicine. But I trusted Meredith and I loved her so much. So I dove in, I went in through her first round of facilitators that she was teaching, and instantly I just felt like this was something different. Like the energy of a cosma, I could feel it in my heart. I've I am a Reiki practitioner as well, and I've had lots of Reiki in my life, but there's just something that was so beautiful and loving and enveloping of this modality, a cosma. And so that was actually just a little over a year ago, which sounds so weird to say because honestly, I feel as if there's nothing else that I've done in my life before. The energy of a cosmos is very familiar and very beautiful. It resonated with my soul. So I went through the levels 1, 2, and 3 as a facilitator, and then just am finishing up or just finished up my level 1, 2, and 3 as a master teacher. So that's how I ended up in ACASMA. And then, of course, life has been a journey through all of the things. Like any good warrior, I've had plenty of different challenges in my life. And the thing that struck me about each time that I had any of these challenges come up in my life was that some sort of energy work or natural healing always found me right after something happened. So I had a bad motorcycle accident when I was 18, and the job that I got immediately after that was with a group of beautiful magical women that like just enveloped me with massages and different aura readings and all of these different things. When I was 14, I had a hip injury. My mom, instead of taking me to a doctor, took me um, to a massage therapist. And ever since then, I pretty much just different things in my life. And eventually took the leap from quote unquote living in the matrix, having a normal life, all of that, where I owned a marketing company for 9 years after I had a really terrible breakup and I had a Reiki session. And in that Reiki session, I heard clearly that it was time for me to step into my work as a healer. So that's kind of a jumbled but also succinct way of explaining how I got to where I am.
Thank you. I do believe that a lot of healers, or probably almost all healers, and people with maybe extraordinary gifts, psychic abilities and clairvoyance and shamans and so forth, have had a kind of um, healing crisis or near death experience that has put them on the path of, investigating further into becoming a healing practitioner or medium or so forth. And so it's always good to hear those stories and understand why you ended up on this path. I'd love to delve more into ACASMA, and like I'm sure a lot of people are wondering like what kind of health conditions can ACASMA help? Um, and what do you usually do in terms of a session with somebody?
Um, yeah, well, uh, ACASMA an ascension healing modality. So basically, anyone that I say that anyone that comes into any contact with, whether you're brand new to spirituality or whether you're a seasoned practitioner, when you come into contact with the cosma, it helps you energetically kind of make that shift and start to really become the higher version of yourself. In that, then there's also a lot of healing that takes place. And of course, this is unique to each person, but some of the things that we've seen healed by using a cosma are uh, healing from vertigo, years of vertigo, 10 years plus, or biting nails. For me personally, I saw it actually help physical pain. I've had some issues with my feet and with my knees, and putting a cosma into self healing sessions has helped me to feel, to kind of work through that pain. It helps to work through self-hatred, anxiety. I feel bad saying self-hatred. Let's say just like, where we beat up on ourselves. Um, it can actually, my mother who suffered a stroke a few years ago, I will send her distant healing when I'm in Mexico. So we do sessions semi regularly. And every time after that session, she is able to speak clearer and she feels happier. And it just really has endless possibilities of all of the ways in which this can heal. Some of the healing happens immediately, and maybe you may not even realize it. Like you have a session, and then a few weeks later, you realize, like, oh, I don't have that ticking in my ear, or oh, I'm not feeling so anxious, or others, it takes a series of sessions, and that's just simply kind of working through all of the kind of um, quantum, I don't know how to put it, but just like kind of the dirt within us, kind of clearing the way and making everything a lot clearer for you, for your heart and your soul. I work with people in person. So my in person sessions are usually about an hour and a half, including any kind of conversation and getting to know each other or just kind of talking through some stuff. In my live sessions, when I'm one on one, I use sound healing as well as smell, aromatherapy. I use touch. And then, of course, the energetic keys of a cosma. I also use light language, which is something that comes through quite often. Light language gets turned on for practitioners as they are learning this modality, which, if you haven't heard light language before, it sounds kind of like gibberish at times, except for it's gibberish that resonates with your soul, and they are healing codes that come through sound. I also use those in my distance sessions, but obviously when I'm in a distant session with people, which I'll be in Mexico working with someone in Australia, it's really working within the quantum. So it's working with energy. And I've given sessions, had people, what's really cool about a cosma is that it also is kind of works through time and space. So it actually, I've had times where because of working within different time zones, where maybe someone has confused the time and they've laid down an hour before I actually do the session, but I send the session and then afterwards I send them notes, and they've reported to me that they experienced some of the same things that I did, only they experienced it an hour before I even sent the message. But because of this whole time space continuum, um, they actually didn't even realize it. And I know that's something that we've also, I think, Michelle, you and I have been experiencing a lot of this time space continuum situations in general. But as time is speeding up, this is so suffering.
Yeah, no, I know. Poor Lauren, I'm getting all scrambled with time, and just to give an idea to people like who may not understand the time space continuum, it's like everything is happening at the same time, the past, the present, the future, and I had an appointment with a friend, and I had a client call just before, and I looked at the clock, and it was 10 till 6 in the evening, And I was like, oh, yeah, I've got, maybe 10 more minutes with the client, and then I have to go and meet my friend at 6:30 or 6:20, I think it was, for the sunset. And suddenly it was 6:30. And the 40 minutes, I don't know what happened to the 40 minutes. My friend is calling me on the phone going, where are you? And I was like, what? What do you mean? I still, and I looked at the clock, and the clock had, I don't know what happened. The clock had gone forward 40 minutes, and I lost 40 minutes of my time. I had no idea that I had been on the phone that long. So, yeah, this has been happening to me more and more, or mixing up times. It's a very interesting thing. And I think as you tap into that quantum field that Lauren was talking about, maybe some of you can relate to that, this sense of how time is really an illusion. It really is. It's not what we think it is. But yeah, I wanted to also kind of jump into what was it that I was thinking about to ask you about? Oh, yeah, well, the theme of this podcast, which is all about how we can really more deeply connect into our higher self, or recognize that we are our higher self. And I know that you wanted to share some thoughts about that, Lauren.
Yeah. Well, it's it's all of this stuff. I mean, working with our higher self also is working within the time, space, and continuum, because our higher self, I believe, the higher self, we are our higher self is the title of this podcast, and I've been trying to like kind of succinctly put that in my mind so that it comes out clearly in this. So let's give it a try. But I think it's something along the lines of, and without getting into religion, I'm just using the words. You know how people say, "God, you are God. God lives within you." If we look at our higher self as if it is God, and we are God, we are our higher selves, and also just thinking about God. What is God? God is source energy. God is this existence that has happened, that has been in existence since the beginning of time. So as we are stepping into our higher self and connecting with our higher self, being more in our God light and our God source, and um, we you think about that as God being really our soul. So our soul lives through all the time and space and all at the same time. And when most people think about their higher selves, they think about the higher self as being something that's maybe the correct version, the more polite version, um, the version of you that doesn't judge others, the version of you that always does the right thing. And I think that that kind of trips us up from connecting with that higher self, because our higher self is really just that inner knowing of what would be for our highest and greatest good. So as we create that connection with ourselves, our own internal voice, this voice that, I think a lot of times people will hear themselves speak to themselves in their mind, and they just think that's just themselves making kind of noise in their head. But I want to actually invite you to think about that voice that is speaking to you as actually your higher self and a part of you. Yes, your higher self sounds like you because it is you. Yeah, your higher self is thinking like you because it is you. So there really is no disconnection between you and your higher self. So something that I've been doing, it's really interesting. I recently got some tattoos on my hand. I got one, the tattoos is the Merkaba. And the Merkaba is something that it's been calling my attention for the last couple of years. And so as I was, it comes up in different formats, different conversations, different relationships that I have. But the Merkaba is essentially, it's a geometric shape that is, some people believe it's like time travel or space travel, but really, as I've gained a better understanding of what it is, the Merkaba is actually our light body, and everybody has one. It's just a matter of activating that. And what instead of thinking about it like a time travel or a space travel, it's actually what it does is it puts us in the right place at the right time. And I think that as we really gain an understanding of our higher self, that's how we connect with our Merkaba, our light body, and are able to be put into the right place at the right time. And one of the exercises that I've been reading about as I've been studying about the Merkaba, it comes from a woman named, I'm kind of forgetting her first name, but her last name is Saint Germain. And I'll give you the link, Michelle. Maybe you can put it in the description of the recording. But one of the exercises before you can even start working with the Merkaba is connecting with your higher self and your higher voice. So, the way I really love this exercise, I want to share it with the world because maybe you can implement it into your life as well. But what you do is first you go into a meditation and you ask your higher self, you just say higher self, which again is you, but it's just asking a specific part of you, higher self, what is the signal for yes? What is the signal for no? What is the signal for neutral? And so, like for me, yes is when I feel my right body kind of being vibrating, and no is my left body vibrating. And then neutral is kind of like it just feels balanced in between. For some people, it might be like you see green light as red, as yes, red light as no, or maybe you see Snoopy as yes, and then, or you'll hear the word Superman, or it could be whatever it is that you and your higher self decide. And then during 45 days, what you do is you're going to ask your higher self for like 50 times a day what to do. So, and they have to be kind of inconsequential um, scenario. So you're not asking like, should I move to Europe or not, or just change my life or no, or whatever. You're asking more like, do I go right or left here? Should I wear red shirt or should I wear a blue shirt? Just little things like this. And this is just helping you to kind of create that relationship with you and your higher self and really start to tap into that voice and understand what it is. The caveat is you always have to do what your higher self tells you to do in this scenario. So I've had it where I've gone walking and maybe I'm like, should I go right or left? I really wanted to go right, but my higher self was saying left. And I almost did just go right just because I was like, this is silly. But then I ended up going left. And what happened is when I went left, I ended up running into someone that I needed to talk to for a few weeks that I'd been wanting to talk to. So it's just like going to help you again once you get that. That's kind of the Merkaba then is the higher dimensional version that kind of connects with your higher self, that allows you to make these decisions through your inner knowing, which is your higher self, of what is for your highest and greatest good. And I think that the more that we can really, first of all, just the exercise of quieting ourselves and listening rather than just acting, because we're in such a reactive world, but just taking a few moments out of every second, every decision, and really just trying to tap in, you'd be really surprised. And it'd be really cool to hear some of the stories that you all might have of what, where that brings you and what kind of life changes happen because of that, even if they're just so small and inconsequential.
That's such an awesome explanation, Lauren. I love it. And it's what a great tool to get people to practice in trusting their inner knowing by using, simple things. Which direction do I go? What color shirt should I wear? What kind of food is going to be best for me today? And then really following through with what your higher self is telling you. And I love that. I love that. That's such a great idea. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing that
it's
tool.
been fun. Yeah, sure. I'm excited. See, this is why we recorded later, because actually this is something that's in between the two songs that I kind of picked up. So was why it was meant to be now.
Yes, I think so. I think so. And I think a friend of yours may have entered the studio. I can't tell. There's a lot of initials here, CEHMSYNZ. I just want to invite you, if you want to get on and ask a live question to Lauren, there's like a little icon with a phone. Looks like a little old fashioned phone handle. And if you click on that, you can actually come into the studio live and ask Lauren a question about connecting with your higher self or about anything else you wish to ask her about ACASMA healing. If you're feeling for some reason shy, then you can also maybe put it in the chat box and she can answer that way. But yeah, all questions are welcome. Please, everyone, if you would like to come into the studio or send a message through the chat box, please go ahead and do so now. So we'll see if we get any brave souls coming in to ask some questions. We'll give them some time to get a little courage. So tell us, Lauren, I know, you've just got the certification to be a facilitator up to level 3 now. And what are your plans? Are you going to be doing some trainings coming up? What's coming up for you?
Yeah, yeah. So I just got the certification to be a teacher. I was the facilitator as of last year, and my plans are to I'm going to start courses this summer. So I have a small group of people I'll be doing in um, distance session, or sorry, distant classes with, and beginning in middle of June. And then hopefully my plan is to, once I get back to Puerto, to do an in-person training as well. And this, um, we're still, as this ACASMA is developing, there's still kind of even the format of the teaching is developing. So it's an exciting space to be in, where we're kind of just figuring out what the world wants. But yeah, my plans are to, I leave in June to go to Europe and travel around, and I just meet with people and do sessions and offer the opportunity for people to become facilitators as well and spread the love of this beautiful.
Oh, I'm so excited that you're going to be doing some trainings when you come back to Puerto. And my plan is hopefully I can join then because then you'll be local, so it'll be easier. And that's really great. So I just want to just remind people how they can get in touch with you again. Do you prefer to be contacted via email or Instagram? What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Instagram is best. Yeah, email's fine, but when I gave up my matrix job, I decided I'm going to check email as little as possible. So,
Uh, Great. What's your Instagram handle again, Lauren?
so I have it's at in underscore the underscore mood medicine. So mood medicine is my business. You could probably just put in mood medicine. And
Oh,
then also my personal is the real Lauren Messmer.
the real what?
Lauren Messmer, my first
Oh,
and last
wow.
name.
The real Lauren Messmer. Oh, that's an interesting one. Okay, so I've got the real, and then there's another L for Lauren Mesmer. Is that correct? So there's two L's there. The real.
Yeah, I'll put no, no, no. Well, because there's an underscore too, but I'll put this in the chat too.
Oh, the real. There's an underscore after real. Oh, thank you, Lauren. Perfect. And
Uh-huh,
go ahead
no
and add the other one as well because I didn't quite hear you so clearly. Um, Looks like you've got 5 hearts here. People are hearting you, which is wonderful.
problem. I love it.
Oh, here it is. Add in underscore the underscore mood medicine. Wonderful. And I will also put that in the description once the recording has been published. Um, is there anything else you'd like to say before we close the show? Like any words of wisdom or anything you'd like to share with our listeners before we go?
Just really, I just want, I think it's just, I don't know how to, like, I just want to invite everybody to remember that energy is real. And just like the butterfly effect, anything that you do ripples out and can actually change the world. And I saw this one, story one time about a little boy who was being bullied at school, and so his mom actually moved him into the big city. They were like in a small school, and then she moved him into a big city. And and she was a little nervous because cities can be cruel, but this kid, he decided that he was going to just start opening the door for everybody. So he would open the door every morning, and it kind of like, at first people thought it was weird, but then after a little period, people started to, like, really appreciate and like look for him. And like then it became this whole thing of where the school saw that now other people were doing other good things for people. And he this kid actually, it's kind of almost makes me want to cry right now because I just think it's such the sweetest story. He ended up I think being prom king that year. He went from like this nerd, you know, quote unquote nerdy kid to now being like prom king, and it was just from him opening the door. And I just really hope that everybody thinks about that and understands that we can change the world. You don't have to be some warrior or, you know, some politician or some famous person. All you got to do is do one act of kindness, and that can spread the love and light.
Oh, Lauren, that's a beautiful story, and it really is true. You know, what we sow is what we reap, and I think, you know, I have a friend that only good things seem to happen for her, and she even said her friends comment on that, and they're like, "We don't understand. Why is that?" And she said, "Well, I always just think the best of people, and I always think the best things are going to come to me." And she really, really does emanate that energy of positivity, and consequently, that's what she draws into her life. And, you know, I'm a fairly positive person, but I'm not as positive as her. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I should get a little bit more positive in my life, because she, you know, manifests left and right. You know, she's constantly manifesting beautiful things into her life. So
Mm.
I think that's a beautiful way to end this program. And I just want to thank you for hanging in there, Lauren, and not giving up and coming back on the show. I'm so grateful that you came back on, and it's just really great to have you again. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure. And just one last thing, I would just add that it takes more energy to frown than to smile. I think that goes along
Ah,
with
that
so
is
thank
so
you.
true. It takes more energy to frown than smile. Good saying and good point to
Hmm.
remember. I'm going to see if these audio effects will be working. That's the sound of clapping. I don't know if you guys can hear that. And
Oh, that's
let's
really
have a
good.
little cheer for Lauren. There's some cheering. I love these audio effects.
Aw,
Yay! Woohoo! So
good.
thank you, Lauren, and thank you everyone for coming on the show, for supporting the show. In the notes, you'll see "Buy me a cup of coffee" if you want to donate and support me. I don't make any money off the show, but if you want to donate to buy me a cup of coffee, I'd be grateful. And check out spiritweaverjourneys.com. I have some programs coming up, and I also have an amazing empowerment and healing retreat for women coming up, and I'll put the website so you can check that out. That's coming in September. So, once again, thanks everyone for listening. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and sending you all so much love.
Besos. Bye.